Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. Today I'm with Sam Allen. He is a choreographer, or would you say you're more of a dancer or a choreographer? How would you self-describe?
Definitely more of a choreographer. And hi, thanks for having me on the show.
Of course. Thanks for joining us. Um, so you started out as a dancer, I'm assuming, though, right?
Yeah, I definitely started out as a dancer and I transitioned more into choreography.
When did you start dancing? Like, how old are you when you started to dance?
So it all started in like elementary school. There was like a ballet program that kind of came to my school, and it was like I think it was third grade, and I started in ballet, and I really liked it. So like after school, I went to this ballet program, and that just kind of hooked me.
What
And then
school? Like, what state was that in?
it was in New York. I grew up in New York.
In the
Uh,
city or outside?
in the city, Manhattan, born and raised. Like you'd walk out of my apartment, you get three steps down, and boom, you're like in the city, like in the concrete jungle. It's crazy.
So they had dance, because I'm always like surprised when dance was accessible a little bit. Like we're talking 90s, right, or 2000?
No, it was 90s. It was 90s. Yeah, it was cool. It was amazing. Every year, my elementary school had this pop up program. So third grade was ballet, and then I think fourth grade was like circus arts, and then fifth grade was ballroom. So I got exposed to a lot of cool arts as a really young kid, which was very very fortunate for my career.
I
But it
probably
also
would have joined a circus if that
yeah,
was something
right?
that came into my school as a kid.
That was one of my favorite things too, because you like balance feathers, and I kind of learned how to juggle. It was really cool.
What do you mean balance feathers? Like feathers from a bird?
Yeah, you know those long feathers, you like put them on your finger, and you try and walk around and balance them as long as you can. Just like circus things.
That's so, I never even thought about like, oh, there's a feather. I should try to balance it. Like,
Yeah,
never,
it was awesome. It
that,
was cool.
that's so cool. So you started in ballet, which is really interesting because you teach hip hop now, is
That
what
is
you would
true.
say.
That is true. But it was great because ballet, any dancer, ballet is like amazing for your foundation. You know, you get your center, you learn how to transfer your weight, and it's really essential for kind of any form of dance, I think. So
Yeah. So you started it in school, and then did you join like a studio, or did you just take it
yeah,
like?
I joined a company after school for a few years,
What's the
and at that
difference between a company and a studio?
um, that's a good question. I think a company was more, we had the same people and we would train and then we would perform in different places, where a studio, I think anyone can join, and there's just a variety of classes, a variety of teachers. It's more,
So you had to audition for this in third grade
yeah, well, I got selected from the elementary school. Yes,
because you're so good. You're so good.
yeah, that's so good. That sound effect is amazing.
I love these things. This is my favorite one though. I don't know what it is. It sounds like a fairy's gonna join us, but I love it.
Dreamy.
Yeah, it's like a great dream sequence. So then you did okay. So you were dancing in like fourth grade at a company in New York City.
Correct. Yes. And then from there, the next year I was exposed to ballroom in my elementary school, and from there I studied with Pierre Dulaine, who's super famous. He started like American Harkness, what is it? American Ballroom Theater. I
Hmm.
think that's what it was. And he's done like Dancing in Jaffa. He's done a lot of movies. He's an amazing ballroom teacher. And then I started studying with him after school too. So I would like alternate between ballet and ballroom.
Ballroom is so hard. I've talked about this before on the
Yeah.
podcast. It's for me the hard, like the walk, just the walk. Not
Oh, yeah.
even like a turn, not even anything after that. Just literally one foot in front of the other and trying to like do that little weird foot turn in, turn out, nobble your knees, not fall over. It's a nightmare.
What about the leading and following? Do you have
Yeah,
tricky? Yeah, I feel
the
like
like,
you're a leader. I feel like you want to lead your guys.
oh, I'm the worst. You've seen me dance. Yeah, I have control issues. Everybody listening, and that's probably my hardest part about partner dancing is because I'm like, oh, it's my way. Uh, we're going left.
Right.
So you did a little bit of ballroom, and then did you go to high school for dance then?
Then was middle school, and for middle school I just did ballet, ballroom. I did a little bit of jazz here and there.
Did you come across like kids being mean to you for being in dance as a boy, or did it because you were in New York? It wasn't like a big deal.
Not really. I never really experienced that. I know a lot of people have experienced that, but I think just being in New York,
Mhm.
and there's just so much arts and there's so many different types of people from all over the place. I think everyone is just really kind of accepting, and you just really have a variety of interests in these kids.
Do you
So
have siblings?
I do. I have a little sister.
Did she dance?
Not so little anymore.
It's funny
uh,
how they always stay the same age no matter,
oh,
like, you're just
oh,
like, you'll always
yeah.
be 6. Yeah.
This-
Uh,
she did. Yeah, she did a little tap. She liked tap.
oh, flop all change. Okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely. Shuffle off the buffalo.
but you were the dancer of the family then.
I was, yes.
Okay. And none of your parents had
My,
any
my
problems with it?
parents, my parents can't dance. No, so I don't know where I got it from. I have no idea.
That's
But
so
they were always super supportive. I mean, they're like, cool, go for it. If this is something you like and you want to create a career out of, we're all for it.
That's crazy. So a company of dance, like instead of a dance studio, is that more expensive or less expensive, you think? I have no idea on the prices of things, and I know that they vary obviously town to town, but like I'm
I,
assuming you have to pay to be in a company, right?
I'm pretty sure I got a scholarship to it when I was little. I don't think they had many guys.
Wrong button, wrong button.
I think that's why I got selected, and they wanted me in this program. There were third grade boys in ballet.
That's why it's like, what? That's amazing.
Right. I think they were like, oh, you got to come join this program, and I felt like super like cool, and I was like, oh, this is so.
That's awesome. Did you have to wear tights?
I did.
Yes.
I did have to wear tights.
I like it.
They were awfully tight.
They should be. They're called it. It'd be weird if they weren't. It'd be you got to put on your tights. They're like the baggiest pants of all time. It'd be like, what? What's the point?
Tights with the rips. No.
That's the Madonna. I heard this is like a weird story that when Madonna got into Juilliard for dance, and she got kicked out for having too many holes in her tights, and she would safety pin them together, which is so Madonna. Yeah, I love it.
Very fashion forward. Look at her.
Yeah, she knew. She knew. Did you go to high school for dance after middle school?
So high school is where kind of everything changed. Before it was just new and exciting, and I was just kind of exposing myself to different styles of dance. And then, high school I went to LaGuardia High School Performing Arts, which is the Fame school. So the movie Fame, I Want to Live Forever. Yeah, that was my high school, which was absolutely incredible. That's where everything kind of just shaped forward. Just
did you go for dance?
No, I went for acting. I went for drama.
I did the same thing. Yes. I got in the Canada version of all of this. I went to it was Unionville High School, and it was like a performing arts school. And I just went for drama, and everyone's like, why aren't you going for dance? I was like, I do that enough.
I went though too. I was like, I dance every day after school, and I really want to start being character driven and storytelling. And that was kind of where all the acting came from.
And it helps with dance, I think.
So much so, because you put stories behind your choreography. You start dancing with intention. You start telling stories through movement, which is exactly why I kind of found choreography, because that's where it really led to. It's really storytelling through dance. So
that's really cool. Did you go to college for dance, or did you jump right into when did you move to LA?
So when I graduated high school, I was going to go to NYU, and I was going to stay in Tisch. I got into Tisch, and I was going to do the drama program. And I'm like, this is what I'm going to do.
It's so hard to get into. Congratulations.
Thank you. Do we need another applause sound effect?
They're so fun.
But my parents were like, why don't you check out USC, go to LA? That could be really cool because you like drama and dance, and LA is, the place for it. So I said, all right, cool, I'll go. We flew. It was my first time LA. I got a tour of Southern California, and I was like, bye New York and 20-degree snow. I'm going here.
Yeah.
And literally, I just chose it because of the weather.
I did the same thing. Everyone's like, why are you here? I'm like, because there's no snow.
Yeah.
And snow's nice. I'll go skiing every once in a while, but I don't want to have to deal with it. I want to choose to deal with it.
Exactly. Yeah, you make a choice. This weekend, we're going to go up to the mountains, right? You're not going to you're not forced to.
Oh, just shovel the driveway, get in the car before they had the heaters to do that stuff. I don't know if you had to do that, but I definitely grew up being like rock, paper, scissors for what kid had to get the car ready to go to school. And it was like, oh, not it. The worst.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Did you now that just totally reminded me of a story of myself. I used to take ballet classes as well, but I'd always go to school first, so that all my shoes would be in my backpack, like my dance shoes. And one time I was taking point. It was like the first year I ever took point, and I was terrible at it. Like I don't think I ever fully got over on that box. But one of my magic markers opened in my bag and like drew all over that shoe, and my mom was so mad because of how expensive they were. And I just remember being like, now these shoes are cooler though. Like, look, now they're like purple, they're tie dye. But my ballet teacher was not feeling it.
Not feeling
Mm-mm.
it, right?
Did you ever break anything dance wise, body wise, clothing wise, outfit, shoes that 'cause it's kind of expensive?
I don't think so. I was pretty good. I was a little good boy, you know.
Okay.
I don't think I ever broke rules.
Wow, that's good. Good for you. Congratulations.
I was goody two shoes.
So you went to college in LA then?
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
you just stayed here and was like, I'm not leaving.
I stayed here, and when I graduated, and I was like, I'm going back to New York. We're going. This was never the plan to live here and move here and start a life, but I mean, one job went right after college, and then the second job, and then I got my agent, and then I got that, and then boom, boom, boom. It just kind of unfolded, and here I am, married with a kid, and I guess I'm not going back anytime soon.
No, not with that snow right now. It's still cold there. You decided to stay in LA and be a dancer. Did you like have to tell your parents? Did they care? It was just like kind of they're the ones that made you come, not made you, but were like you should go there. So it's kind of their fault.
Yeah, it is their fault. We're gonna blame them.
Yeah, 100%. Mom, dad, it's your fault.
I'm grateful though because it started something incredible.
Yeah. What was your first big gig that you got out here?
Oh, I think I just started teaching really, and it was just kind of a side thing. I graduated college, and they were like, "Oh, well, this is a great way, to make some money while you get some cool jobs." And I started teaching, and then while I was teaching,
At a studio or at like a gym or
a gym. I started at Gold's Gym. Yeah, that was my
shout
first
out to Gold's Gym. They have some great like.
job.
I switched gyms because somebody told me about all the choreographers at Gold's Gym because I was going to LA Fitness, and then everyone was like, yeah, but everyone who teaches at Millennium, The Edge, like all these great dance studios are out in Los Angeles that are like take one only classes for those of you who are listening. These, of course you're listening. That was a dumb thing. For all of you who've not been to LA, I should say, most of these teachers teach at this gym, and it's like, wait, what? You pay $30 a month to take granted, the classes are a little bit easier because you have to teach for all levels.
Right.
But it's like, what? You're getting basically free dance classes for fun.
It's so true. I kind of fell into this amazing little gym where you're right. There's been so many famous choreographers, so many big name people who have been teaching there and started there, and like I think it's in the middle of Hollywood. So you've got all these celebrities and people who are working in the industry there working out and kind of dancing and networking. And it was amazing because I really got my footing from there. I met a bunch of people, a bunch of artists, and through all those connections, somebody introduced me to my agent. Somebody was like, I'm a singer, do my music video. And then it kind of just all flowered from there. And then obviously more jobs lead to other jobs. You meet people on them and they trust you when you do a good job, and then they introduce you to other people.
Yeah, you're a great teacher. Like your class, you break it down really good for people who are a little bit slower at picking up. And then also like I have friends who have taken your class that are not dancers by any stretch of the words, but they feel like the hottest in your class. Oh, I should not have said it. I'm gonna bleep that later. They feel like the hottest. What button? No, that's what I deserve for that word. Kid show. They feel so good, and so they've told me that they're like I was the best in that class. I'm like I love that you feel that way. Like that's what dance should be for those who are not trying to be a dancer.
100%. And I really kind of tailored that class, especially at the gym and some other studios where I make you guys feel good. I mean, I've taken so many classes where you walk in and the instructor makes you feel, it's just so intimidating and makes you feel so small and then yells at you, got to get better. And I'm like, this isn't an industry class. This isn't a class filled with people who are working and wanting to be better at the auditions. A lot of these people are just trying to have fun dancing. So
yeah, and there's two kinds of classes like that in LA, and people I don't think always realize that, because I've definitely gone to classes where they berate you for like 20 minutes about how you need to be doing it full out and doing it perfect for the audition. And I'm so not a dancer anymore. And I'm just like, hey, I am just here to not get huge and to have a good time. Like,
And I think that's what, continues to make the class grow, and it makes people feel good and want to continue dancing, and it's great.
and
I
then
love
you
them.
started, when did you start teaching at the playground?
Right when it opened, the soon as playground opened, I was one of their first teachers there.
When did it?
Robin Anton, Robin and Kenny Warmold, who own it. I've known for a long time. Robin had been taking my class, and she said, "I'm opening up a studio. You got to be one of my teachers." And boom, right there, so I was one of the first classes on the schedule.
That when did they open up? How many years ago?
I think 4 years ago, 4 or 5.
And it's
So,
like so popular everywhere. Like it is taking you out of the country, those classes.
yes, I'm so grateful for that studio. I mean, the exposure, people around the world from so many different countries all fly to LA just to take class at the playground. And when I'm teaching there, I meet so many people who are like, come to this random place around the world and teach at my small studio. And I'm like, I would be honored to do that. And they're like, we'd be honored to have you. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. I get to fly out of the country and teach you guys. Like, this is a dream come true. And it's just like a win-win.
Yeah, it's
So,
so fun to watch people come in from all over the world and take class. It's such a smart marketing thing, that studio as well. Just like
oh,
with the videos and stuff at the end, everyone basically gets like a little bit of a reel if you want to have something, if you're
mhm.
new into the industry and you don't have anything.
Yeah, you got great footage teaching, dancing at a studio, and it's really cool. And it looks great too. They light it so well because there's lighting from the front and the back. So you've got that like refracted light, and your face is lit. So it looks great.
It does,
All
it does. I've posted some that have been
yeah,
taken down.
front and center, kickball changing.
Yeah, always. So then you do a lot of commercial gigs mostly, right? Like what kind of
Yeah.
industry of dance would you say that you're in? Because there's like Broadway, then there's like choreographers who do like Emmys, then movies and commercials. Like where would you put yourself? Obviously, you do everything, but the main.
So it's hard for me to kind of put myself in that box because I've done so many random things. I
Mhm.
mean, I've done some like Broadway stuff. I flew back to New York to do a little regional production of In the Heights. And then I've also done commercials for so many random products like Champion Sports and Nike and Doritos and all these, cool, fun 30-second spots. But then I've also done, a bunch of TV shows. I just did that Disney TV show, Love Victor.
Mhm.
So that's cool. And then I've done a few movies. I've choreographed a movie in Spain. I was there for 2 months choreographing a movie there. So it's so random. I've done something with you that,
Yeah. It's not for
so
kids. It's not for kids.
comedy specials, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's kind of so random. Obviously, a ton of music videos. I didn't even mention that, like Keith Urban's music video that I did, and I
Did
did
you get to
Todrick
meet
Hall.
his wife?
Nicole Kidman. Oh my God, she's amazing. No, she was not there. She was filming that week.
Fair.
Just so far, I was so excited, but no, she wasn't there.
That's okay.
But yeah, so like those are music videos, right? And
How do you
scores,
how do
like
you think of what you're going to do for a music video? Like for example, like how do you like do they come to you and they're like, "Hey, I we're going to shoot this in a barn and the song is about a rabbit and I want I want magic glitter."
yeah, yes. Ooh, anything for that sound effect. I think it depends too. Some of the jobs that are really really strict, like that Keith Urban job, they had sponsors. They had a hat sponsor, they had a bourbon sponsor. There was just so much product placement in that video, and everything was specifically lined out in that shot. And they said, "This is the exact vision. This is where the dance is. It's these 15 seconds. It has to be this. The shot is a long shot, so he's walking into the barn. You've got to have the dancers on either side." So that kind of situation is very strict, and they have everything laid out. Where I'll work with another artist who was like, "Here's my song. What do you see?" And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I get to create, and I can really be that creative director and say, "I want two guys walking beside you down the street," and then they look over to, I can really paint this picture. Um, so it really varies. I mean, every job gives me some freedom, and others are, just like small box. So
And which one do you prefer? Cuz I can see like the joy of being in a box is like nice because then you are working within a constraint, but then also like the freedom of everything is nice, but then there's like never ending solutions. And I
You're
would be like,
so
ah,
right. Yeah, it's funny. I kind of prefer being in that box and making what they give me work. Whereas they say, the world is your oyster, and now I'm sitting here like,
I'm
okay,
allergic to seafood.
I don't know. We could do anything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of like the really serious, rigid moments where I'm like, okay, I had this choreo, but in order for that shot to work, I need to fix it, and then it makes me kind of better because I'm growing and making my work, fit what is required. So
Right. And you have a daughter now, right?
that's true. That's true. I do,
Is
and I have
she gonna?
another one on the way. Actually,
Congratulations! A girl?
another girl.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at you, all the
Girls.
ladies.
I don't know. I'm gonna have a wife and two girls. Oh man, that's three. That's three ladies running around my house.
That's a
Woo, woo.
lot. Yeah, that's a lot of girls.
Yeah, girls.
Are you gonna put them in dance, or are you gonna let them choose? Like, how do you? That's such a because I know a lot of dancers who are like, my kid's never gonna be a dancer, and then a lot of dancers who are like, this kid's gonna have the best feet. I'm stretching them from birth. Like,
Right. It's so early because she's 1.5. I mean, she's just now walking straight, and we're like just trying to lift one foot. I do this thing where I'm like 1 foot, right, and she's got to balance on 1 foot. So
you train them
we're just
young.
on that right now. But when the music comes down, she's got her groove. She's like, hey, she has a little party groove. It's funny.
That's so fun. Yeah. So you just don't know yet. You'll just kind of feel it out, I guess.
A little early for me to tell, but I definitely want her to dance. I'm gonna take her to all my classes while I teach and have her sit there when she's, old enough to sit in one place without running around.
You're gonna sit there and you're gonna watch.
Yeah, there's no way if I say sit down in the corner, she's not listening to me just yet.
I mean, maybe she never will. Also, it depends on what kind of.
And say hi to everybody. Yeah, you're right. She probably won't ever listen to me.
Just depends on what kind of kid she is. Very cool. So, what is like the craziest job you've had to do from your perspective?
The craziest job?
And that word crazy could mean anything too, right? Like it could be just like something that you never thought you would do to like the hardest thing. You know what I mean? Like crazy is such an open word.
That movie I mentioned in Spain was really, really hard. So I got there and we had a whole script, and there it's like a dance film. So basically, you have to.
In Spanish?
No, it's in English. It was just filmed in Spain.
Oh, because there's a part of me that's like, whoa, how do you even count to 8? Uno, dos. Sorry.
No, it was one of those like those cute like cheesy movies where they're like, we have to film 10 dance videos, in order to save your dad's boat. That kind of like.
I love that.
Yeah, it's super cute. But it was intense because I had to film like 10 different mini music videos all around this little city, and every single day we'd film another one. So I'm up all night trying to choreograph like a 3-minute music video every single day for like 10 days in a row. It was so intense.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's like
It was definitely really, really challenging. And also using the same dancers because in a movie you have the same lead dancers who are doing the same dance. So how many times can you see the same guy freestyle? So I have to be really creative on set every day, just thinking about what can we do that we have not seen yet. So
that's true. That's very true. So then with like, when did you switch from ballet to hip hop?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. It was probably middle school towards it, and I think it was like 7th or 8th grade, right before I went to high school. I was doing ballet, I was doing ballroom, and then as I was growing up, a lot of my hip hop was kind of getting cool, and I would go to Broadway Dance Center and take some classes. And
who was your teacher that you would take at BDC?
Luam.
Okay.
Luam. Oh, she was the best.
Mm-hmm.
I would take her, and I would also take the Amount Boys. They were some of my teachers. And who else? I don't know. It was a long time ago.
I got one of my first jobs in New York off of BDC. I just was in, I think it was Hatchett's class, or how do I say his name? He was there forever. He was a little like,
yeah,
Yeah. And he always did like this jump section, and I used to be really good at jumping, like height wise. And somebody was watching the class, and they were like, "Hey, there's this competition for some magazine for like the highest jumper in New York. We want to do your photos for the spread." I was like,
That's
"What?"
what's up.
And I got like in some magazine for doing a bunch of toe touches from that class, which is so weird. Like that's New York and LA for you though. Like,
You just get spotted. Boom.
yeah,
Right.
I never wanted to be a dancer. That was not my intention ever. Did you want to be a dancer?
I think so. I mean, I love dancing. I wanted to be a choreographer, and it happened in high school because we were doing the talent show in my high school, and everyone was so talented at that school. I mean, you've got singers, dancers, actors, musicians. I mean, it's like it's LaGuardia. It's every type of art form in this tiny building, and everyone is just so passionate and wants to do that. And and I kind of just loved so in the talent show, I said, you know what, I'm going to do a dance, dance scene or whatever. Like a little, I kind of got a bunch of dancers from the dance department, and I just started choreographing this little number. And I remember my drama teachers were saying, "You're just dancing. There's no story here. What's going on? Let's sit down and write something. Let's start saying, like, what are the characters?" And I was like, "Oh, this is so cool. I can storytelling. I can say whatever I want." And from there, I knew this was something that I would want to do for the rest of my life. And it was choreography,
So
so
it's kind of like you're a writer, but with your body.
with your body. Woo! I love that analogy. That's hot.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
really cool. Very, very cool. So if you could have a dream job of choreographing, like what would be your like? Is it a person? Is it a show? Is it like to have your own show of whatever you want?
A dream job would probably be a hip hop musical movie. That would be my
Oh,
dream job.
okay.
Like In the Heights, that's coming out. That would be my dream job.
Very cool.
Or that's that.
Yeah,
Or
that
something, not that exact movie, but something along those lines,
can
like a Hamilton movie.
can you watch musicals movies as a dancer? I have a hard time watching like dance movie. Like for example, I've never watched what was that one? The Last Dancer, where it's like the cover of the photo is like a girl and a boy like this. Hmm?
Aladdin? What do you
No, it's like something about Hollywood. Oh, it's slipping my mind. Like it's a dude and a woman, and they are. It's like
La La Land? Who you talking about?
I think it is La La Land, and I wouldn't watch La La Land because of the poster, because the lead guy, who I should know his name, but it's on the tip of my tongue, his arm line wasn't right, and it drove me insane. So it's like I'm not gonna watch this guy not be a good dancer. He's not a dancer. Like,
Based on the one picture.
and
Whew.
I haven't seen it yet.
Are cool now from now on. I'm be like, listen, if this picture isn't right, Kim's never gonna work with me.
And I'm not even like trying to. I don't know, man. There's something about watching dance movies that I can see the first thing someone does wrong, instead
Mm.
of enjoying the thing.
Really critical. Yeah, I could see that a lot of people have that feeling. I don't know. I just kind of geek out. I just see dance and I'm like, oh, it's so cool. Rewind. I just want to watch it again. And I analyze how the choreography is staged. I'm like, oh, how did that formation get from there? That was cool. And I hit rewind again. I'm like, I'm gonna steal that. Right. I'm gonna take that and turn that in my own version. I just get inspired by stuff like that.
That's very cool. Yeah, it's there's so much talent in dance now, I think, like because of the internet and like online classes, or the ability for people all over the world to see what the bar is, because it used to be only certain areas had amazing dancers, and now you can really be a great dancer anywhere in the world.
It's so true. Yeah. You just turn on YouTube and you can train in your living room for hours and hours.
The problem
It's
is you don't have someone fixing your body line, like you have to be aware enough for that, but it's
true. But the amount of content out there, you could just dance for days.
mhm.
You know,
You could definitely learn different
learn different styles, learn from different people. Obviously, there's so much in having somebody there looking at you, correcting. But just the first step of just being able to dance with talented professionals, from the comfort of your living room is huge. I mean, that's just revolutionized dance in general. I think that's why so many people are getting so good at such a young age.
Yeah, the tricks that kids can do is insane.
Yeah. You got these 6-year-olds who are just killing it, spinning on their head. Boom, what's up? What? You're 6.
And they do like a never ending turn into like a back standing tuck or something crazy. So what would you say if like because you've traveled the world to teach at other studios, what do you like tell people who want to become dancers when they come up to you and they're like, how do I do this? What do I do?
Well, first of all, we have to make sure that conversation in English. That's a tough one right there. That's the biggest challenge. You gotta have somebody translate for you.
How is that when you're teaching in a country where they don't speak English and you have a translator?
Yeah, a lot of times I've had a translator. There's been a few where I don't have a translator, and at that point, it's just I'm kind of going 1 and 2, right? I mean, they'll all know the numbers, and I'm just kind of teaching in terms of like beats, boom, ta ta ta, right? And
Yeah, in any language, boo ta 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 is boo ta ta ta.
And you can also demonstrate too. I've said a lot of times where it's like I'm gonna put an extra like an extra body roll in it, where I'm like, don't do. I'll make a sign like, don't do it like this. Do it like this. So I kind of just mime that. They can understand that.
That's cool.
But yeah, so a lot of times I'll have a translator who if I need to say something, hey, you guys aren't turning your head, the focus isn't right, or something like that, they'll say that for me.
Cool. But what do you tell people that also speak English too?
Full circle. I don't know. I say a lot of it is training, which is just in terms of dance quality, it's training, but it's also performance. That's a huge factor. Is your facial expressions and the emotion that you put into the dance and how you perform. I mean, it's not just being an awesome dancer. I mean, you've got to emote. You've got to be that character and have an audience member be attracted to what you're doing and be inspired by your performance. So that's the training aspect too of the performance side. And then you got to meet people. You have to network. You got to get your stuff out there. You have to have footage of what you've been doing. And even if it's just you dancing in your room, you've got to have something to show people to say, here's what I can do. And then go out and meet people, work any job you possibly can just for the experience and the exposure. And then from there, grow.
And then how do you feel about like TikTok dancing versus like class dancing? Everyone gets real heated about this topic.
Everyone does get really heated. I mean, I just think it's another platform for exposure. Honestly, I just did a music video last week where all of the dancers were super famous TikTok dancers, every one of them.
But could they dance? Like, were they talented?
They're dope. Yeah, they were really good. I mean, if your TikTok dancing is just for your TikTok and you're still training, hey, great. That's just another means for you to make revenue. I mean, you're growing your TikTok, and then you'll have an artist who's like, hey, I got this new song. If you dance on it, my song's going to reach all your followers. And then boom, right? I mean, that's a great way for you to just make another revenue stream, just introduce whoever you want to all your followers.
Do you feel like you have to keep up with like your Instagram and your TikTok and all of that? Or do you just kind of like,
partially, I feel a little bit, like I definitely should be working on it more, because I have had a few opportunities where I've been reached out to on my Instagram for jobs, but the majority of my jobs have been from personal relationships and just from being in the industry long enough and having a reel where I've done enough professional jobs where I think that speaks for itself. However, I do think obviously, having a reach is great because you bring that value to the project. You can say, hey, if I'm on your project, this many more people will see it.
right? No. So with the TikTok dancers, when you had them all, did you find it was easier, harder, or the same as teaching dancers who weren't TikTok famous?
I think for me, it felt the same. But I think they were all legit dancers. I can't speak for someone who's never taken a class and only does TikTok. I feel like if I had that person in a job or on a job that I was working and they couldn't pick up my choreo, I'd be frustrated. I'd say, how did you get this job, you know, like you can only do your TikToking. That's the only thing you can do. I think that needs to be one skill set of many and not the only thing that you're focused on.
So I think that that's important for kids to hear because there's a lot of people who think that they just have to have the most Instagram followers or the most TikTok follower or whatever the thing is at the time. But it's not just having that. That is helpful because, yes, you can reach a larger audience, but you still need to be a good dancer. You still need to be able to pick up choreography. You're not just going to get it because you're just famous.
Correct. Yeah, I completely agree. It needs to be one of your many skill sets, is what I said. It can't be your only thing. Because like I said, if I book you on a job and I start working with you and I realize that you are not trained at all and you don't understand how to pick up choreography, you can't follow directions, and the only thing you know how to do is TikTok, I'm not going to work with you again. No one's going to want to work with you, and I'm not going to share your name with anyone who comes. Like it's just,
and you'll get fired. People get fired all the time.
Yeah, there you go.
I danced for Diddy, and they fired 5 girls right before the live show of the VMAs, and he was hosting it, and those girls were bawling their eyes out, but they messed up, and it's like it can be a harsh thing, and people like, and it wasn't Diddy necessarily, but like the whole world of that. It's like people, if you're dancing for somebody so famous, it doesn't matter how famous you are. You know what I mean? Like they don't necessarily need you. So your ego needs to get checked real fast. Yeah. I have 5 questions that I ask everybody. No, they're magical. I need to think of a fun button for that. Or this is what you feel.
Like 5 questions on, man. Where are we going with this one?
No, they're all dance related. Your favorite singer to dance to or move to, like
Chris
now?
Brown. Chris Brown, without a doubt. I love his stuff. He's got this perfect soulful feeling, but also the hip hop beat. It's like a little bit of an R&B feel, but still gangster. I don't know. It just makes me move. I love Chris Brown.
I like that. What is your favorite music video of all time?
Ooh. Oh man, that is really, really hard. My favorite music video of all time. Actually, it was one that Nappy Taps choreographed called "Putting on the Ritz." I think it was
like putting on the Ritz.
Yeah. They did the coolest concept video to it. I'm obsessed with it. I'm
gonna have to look that up. I'm gonna put.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite music videos. Putting on the Ritz. Nappy Taps choreographed it. I think Herb Alpert is the artist. I could be wrong, but I think that's right. But cool. It's just the cinematography of it was so cool. I think the whole thing was done in one shot. It's like a 3-minute shot, one take. And there's so many dancers. They go in and out of buildings. They go on a bus. I mean, the whole thing was ridiculously choreographed.
Oh, I'm definitely gonna check that out. That sounds really exciting. What is your favorite after show food to eat? So like after you've choreographed a show and it's done and all the pressure is off, everyone crushed it.
Thai food for sure. I am obsessed with Thai food. I can eat that all day, every day, multiple times a day. So as soon as I'm done with anything, my go-to is Thai food.
What's Thai food specifically? Like what specifics?
Oh man, I'll get the pad see I'll get pad Thai, I'll get Penang curry, I'll get the eggplant basil, I'll get the whole menu.
I've never heard anyone be like, oh man, I'm gonna get that pad Thai you. You said that's so like so street. Pad Thai you. Yeah. I get that pad Thai you. I love that. So I don't know if this question applies because you do more choreography than dancing, but the question is, what's the most difficult trick you've ever had to learn? But you've also had to learn everything at some point in time. So what is the hardest trick that you had to learn in your lifetime for a show or for anything? It could have even been your first ballet trick.
Oh, it was exactly where I was going with it. The hardest trick for me was having to lift these girls in 3rd grade. I was the tiniest little frailest like boy, like just shaking, like, and I had these big girls like I had to lift and I had to like lift up over my head, and there were multiple times I fell. It was hard. I mean, it's like I was like these scrawny little arms. I could not lift these girls.
Also, girls grow faster than boys at that age.
Faster. They were like twice my size. I'm telling you, and I was weak.
And did they know how to help you as well, or were they like just in 3rd grade being like, lift me?
like lift me, right? No support, no like strength in their body, no tension in their muscles. They're just dead fish. Like, pick me up.
I love the idea of one of them falling on you. I hope that never happened.
That's right.
And then if you had to have any other job other than a choreographer or something to do with dance, like if you could not be a dancer or a choreographer, what would be the other job that you would do
I mean, it
outside?
can't be like creative, can't be directing or something like
I
that.
could, it could. There's no, you can say whatever.
Oh, probably directing, which is ultimately kind of where I want to go with this too. After choreography. I mean, I kind of not after choreography. I just kind of combine the two in one. Just more directing. I want to learn more about the camera so I can start making decisions on which lenses to use and how to light certain things.
So you
But I
want
think
to do the next La La Land that I watch?
yes, with a better cover photo for you.
Heck yeah. It's very important. Make sure that alignment is right or I will not watch your movie.
Cheat question though. I kind of gave you like a crappy answer. I feel like it'd be better if I couldn't choose anything in the entertainment
Sure,
industry.
nothing in the entertainment business.
Like stockbroker.
Oh, cool. I used to want to be one growing up. But the first job I ever wanted as a little child, like a 5-year-old, I wanted to be a bridge builder. I wanted to build bridges. And my mom would be like, "You want to be an architect?" And I'd be like, "No, I want to wear hard hat and hammer things." Like I wanted to be a builder of bridges. And now I'm petrified of bridges. I like close my eyes if I'm driving on them, which is the worst thing to do. But I'm
You might have to ask you to drive me somewhere.
never, not in Florida. No. And then in like third grade, I was like, I want to be a stockbroker. Until I was like in eighth grade, I wanted to be a stockbroker because I liked how they shouted money, like on the floor where they're like $10. My mom took me to one when I really wanted to be one, and she was like, "All right, let's show you what it looks like." And I was like, "That guy's just shouting 100, and he's making money. This sounds great."
Cool.
Now it's like all in an app, so I think it'd be anticlimactic.
That's true. I guess so.
Yeah.
Kind of be, but I don't know. It'd be cool to like learn about different companies that who's gonna blow up, which is gonna be the next one that makes millions of dollars, and you're in it. I don't know.
You like it seems like you like things that are very energetic and you like living on the like what if,
Yeah, I'm a little bit of a dreamer like that. Yeah, I thrive on the energy and the people and the vibes. Yeah.
That's very, very cool. So the playground is currently online only right now, or how is that?
Yeah, they've got a bunch of tutorials online. I'm pretty sure next week or 2 weeks they should be opening because I know we just moved into some different tier. So I think a lot of places are going to be opening within the next month.
And do you plan on teaching in there again?
Yeah, before all this craziness, I had 2 classes there, Monday, Tuesday, every week. So I'm hoping that we go back to the regular schedule. I don't know if they're going to redo the schedule this year. I don't know. So I plan on teaching there every week, assuming everything goes well.
Do you teach anywhere else for if someone wanted to join in, like if I was living in another country right now and I'm listening?
Good question. I teach on Zoom twice a week. I teach a beginner class Tuesday nights, and then I teach an intermediate class Wednesday mornings. So you guys can hop on my Zoom.
How do they find out about that?
You find out about it. I post it on my Instagram. You can follow me at Sam Allen Swag. Yes. You can check out my website, samallenswag.com.
ALLEN.
Yes. SAMALLENSWAG. And then, yeah, you guys can check it out. Every week, I've got a bunch of international people too, which is so cool. People from all over the world join my Zoom every week.
Do you find it hard? Like when I take people's classes like yours, I'm very like, oh, I had to think of a whole new idea again. Like I think like that's so many things. It's a new dance. Whereas it's like if you teach at a dance studio, you do combos like maybe once a month or depending on your studio that you're at, and then you're working towards dance competition or you're working towards the dance recital. So it's really one dance with maybe small combos before it versus like at the playground or the edge or Millennium, it's a new dance every time.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, it's not every week. I don't do a new combo every week. A lot of times I'll do a combo twice a week. So that way, if you learned the first week, you want to come back, perfect it, get out of your head a little bit more.
I love that.
A little bit more in your body, you get more comfortable, and then it's easier to perform, which is great. A lot of people love coming that second time, especially since the first time it's so new in your body. You really want to give it another try and get better at it. So I'll do that So it's like every month I'll have 2 combos, which is great because it's every other week. But you're right. Teaching in a studio, you learn one dance number and you're working on that from what, September to March, May, I don't know, all year. It's like a whole school year, and you just kind of drill that routine. So
Yeah.
that's you'll look great at the end of March, or at the end of the year, though.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I hope so. Yeah, I just think of like, I'm interested in once the like, so we're in Los Angeles right now, and currently we're talking in the middle of March right now, where dancing is just about to get open again. It sounds like out here. I think he just announced it last week, but it hasn't been like, all the studios and whatnot have to like get all of the gear and all of the rights and all of the things that you need.
Too. It's been a year of being closed, so I think they just have to put all the pieces together.
Right. And I can't imagine taking a dance class right now. Like, I'm excited to. I will, but I'm gonna have no stamina. Like, you're gonna do 1 8 count, I'm gonna be like
That's so true.
it's gonna be so, and my brain remembering the next step, I'm like, oh, that's really hard.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, you gotta build back into it.
But I do think it's gonna teach passion.
For sure. And people have been so, pent up with all these emotions. I think once they're finally in a dance studio with all those people around, they're gonna be like, yeah, just let it loose and just like full out and be dripping in sweat and just missing all that energy.
Yeah, I was like a teen professional dancer when I was touring, and then I got in a car accident where I couldn't dance for 2 years, and like I couldn't really do much. And when I got back into dance, I was so passionate about it, and my facial expressions were so much bigger and so much more enjoying for me, but also for the audience. And people would be like, "Man, I love watching you dance." And I think a large part of it was like cuz I couldn't. And I realized what it was like not to be able to, that it like made me be like, "Oh, I love to dance." Doesn't mean I'm great at it. It just means I love to do it, you know?
And you should keep doing it. I mean, you should do what you love and make you happy.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes. What advice would you give somebody who is they don't necessarily want a career in dance, but they just want to slowly progressively get better? What would you say?
I think you just take as many classes as you possibly can. Find a teacher who you find encouraging and that you like their music selection, you like their movement, and you can take their class and have fun and while still growing and still sweating and still getting your workout at the same time. And then keep doing that.
And then for those, because you're a choreographer who want to be a choreographer, they don't want to be a dancer, but they're like in high school. Like how do you bridge that gap, or how do you just go to college and you're like, I just want to be a choreographer. I don't actually want to be a dancer. I just want to put the piece together.
Hmm. I think the best way to do that is to reach out to dancers who you like their movement and you like their style, and then start choreographing on them, grabbing a bunch of dancers and putting them together, choreographing on them, filming it, and just start making your own concept videos. That way you have almost like a reel of your work, and then you can start sending that out to a bunch of people and saying, hey, look, this is all my work, this is my creativity, hire me on your next job, kind of thing.
And then camera wise for them, I would recommend, like, if you have an Apple phone, you're already halfway there, just grab a gimbal.
Absolutely, just grab like one of those like DJI on your phone, and boom, you have so much. This the technology right now just on an Apple iPhone is, I mean, what? It's mind blowing.
Yeah, and then a gimbal is like a steady cam stick that you throw your phone in so that you can go in and out, kind of like how the playground does their videos, so it feels like a music video.
Yeah, it's so cool. Definitely do that. That's a great idea for anyone who's aspiring to be a choreographer.
How do you start your choreography? So, like, let's say you're teaching on Monday and you found a song that like moves you. I'm assuming you go based off of the music first too. I just threw that on you.
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah. I'll scroll through Spotify forever and I'll find a song. I'm like, this is the one. I'll listen to it a million times. And then I will sit down. A lot of times I won't choreograph dancing. I actually sit down, put my headphones on, get in this weird mind headspace zone that who knows where I am. And I just envision choreography and I'll choreograph it that way. And then and then I'll get up and I'll say, okay, yeah, boom, 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 cool, we're good to go.
So for the listeners who are like studio owners or teachers at studios, and they are choreographers as well, but they also have a kid like you do, does that stop the time frame? Like she comes walking up, rubs on your pant, like you can't like
Oh, absolutely. It happens all the time. I'm just in my zone and I'm like, all right, give me another second. And I just like, I kind of grab her and I'm like shaking her while
Just
I'm
put it
still in
on
my
your lap.
mind. Yeah,
Put her on your
exactly.
lap, bounce her up and down, and
Yeah.
that becomes the beat. That's really, really cool. Do you have any like go to, like, how would you describe your style of dance?
Um, I'd say kind of commercial hip hop, pop, dash musical theater, R&B swag.
That's so long and I love it.
I don't even know what I just said, but it's just
No, I
like,
love. I would describe your dance style as like definitely hip hop. There is like classic hip hop steps in it, but then it's also got like this like sassy, like always a body roll or a touching of some like down your arm. For those of you who can't, who are just listening, I just took my jazz hand and rubbed it down my forearm. It was very, very good.
yeah, yeah.
uh,
That kind of groove. I like a good body roll for sure. You get a little turnaround, neck snap.
do
Little
you
snap.
teach towards women or men, or it doesn't matter, like in your mind? Because a lot of your moves are very like, I feel like stereotypically female centric when it comes to like the way the body rolls, but then you do that same dance step and you make it very masculine when you show the combo itself. So it's like, I don't know if I'm thinking it's female because I'm doing it, so I'm thinking of it as a lady, and then when you do it I'm like, ah, I could have broed that out.
Yeah, I think you can do some of the same moves either way. You know, you can definitely move a little more girly, a little more body roll, hair flip, and then you can kind of get the same thing with just stronger arms and the shoulders back and then like that grounded feel. So I think you can definitely do some of the moves either in a masculine way or a feminine way. But I kind of don't I don't really have that in mind. I just when I hear the music, I kind of just have a move that comes to mind. So
Do you ever
it's
hire anybody who's in your class, like let's say you have a
oh,
job?
all the time. Absolutely. There's been multiple times where I've gone through who like the people in my class and I'll say, "Oh, you guys killing it. Like I want you on that next job." Yeah. And then sometimes I'll be looking for somebody specific, like the producer will be like, we need a blonde girl, we need this kind of look." And then I'll go through my whole like roster of classes and I'll think who fits that look, who could be, and I'm like, oh, that girl from that class, and then boom, I'll hire her.
That's crazy. That's great. That's good to know for people. Like, classes matter. Take them. Networking. Always be kind because you never know how someone's watching you.
True. You got to be kind. There's just so many people with so much attitude. And I'm like, you never know who you're talking to. You just got to smile to more people and be more relatable because everyone wants to work with somebody who's fun to work with. I mean, you don't want an attitude on set. You don't want to deal with somebody that you're having to pull out, all that energy. I'd much rather be with somebody who's like, yeah, yeah, so cool, let's do it, down for whatever. And then I'll be like, hey, listen, on this, you got to pull back. I'd much rather that than try to get somebody who's like angry. Can you smile on this shot, please? Right.
And is your wife like into dance, or was she? Did you meet through dance? Is she? She's obviously supportive, or I'm assuming you guys wouldn't be together.
Oh, super supportive of me. We met in college, so she was a dancer in college. Yeah, we were on the dance team together. That was fun. And then, but she doesn't do that anymore. That was just a little college hobby.
but
Um,
she gets it, right? Like, so she understands when you have to leave.
Absolutely. She understands the business, what it entails, what it's like, the creative process. Sometimes 11 o'clock at night when she's trying to go to bed, I'm like, I got inspired. I heard this song. I got it choreographed, right?
How do you always find, you always come in with like a new song that I've never heard before? Granted, I don't really listen to music too often, but it's always like, and you can see all the dancers like, oh, this beat is amazing. And it's like you introduced that song to people. I hope that musicians understand how much dance choreographers really pump their music up.
So it's true. You expose everyone in your class to that artist, to that song, to that style, to that genre of music that who knows. And like when I go to Europe, like and I teach, I listen to all these European songs. And then I came back here and I taught a song to I taught a class to some European song and nobody here had heard of. And all of my dancers now were exposed to that artist. So it's so true. You're right.
That is something that bothers me about Instagram, how they like take down songs because you don't own the rights to it. But it's like,
It's my choreography. I should be able to post it.
also it's not negative, it's positive. Like, it's literally helping their brand.
Agreed. I'm just, giving them more light.
Yeah, Instagram, get on that.
Yeah.
I don't know what this button does, but I'm gonna push it. Oh, not the right one at all.
But I mean, you asked like how I find the songs. I feel like I live on Spotify. I am just like scrolling for days. The new music, Fridays, I look every Friday for new music, and then if I like an artist, I'll go to their page and then I'll scroll through their music, and I'll give a song like 10 seconds, and I'm like, is this the next? Is this nope? Real quick, I'm just scrolling to find stuff.
So those songs are your posters. I'm like, no, I need like.
Exactly. I'm like, that arm wasn't cool. Next. You're so right.
I get it. I get it. It matters. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Is there anything that you want to say that you didn't get to say? I don't know.
I said it all. You said it all. I don't know. This was great. Thank you for having me. I had so much fun talking about my life.
I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I think that this show is really important for people to learn about dance, and I love that it's for everybody. You don't have to want to be a dancer to love how to dance.
That's so true. It's so true. More people should dance. It just feels so good. And at the end of your class, you just like, you're filled with endorphins, you're sweaty, and you're just smiling. I mean, even if it was way too hard for you, and you're just like, oh well, that was really cool. I got to hear music in a room that was really loud, people who were moving. You get to see somebody else who was dancing and killed it.
It's great for exercise. It's great for your brain to memorize things. And it's really good because you can't have your phone on you. You literally can't think of anything else when you're dancing but what you're doing in that moment. And that's what I love about it.
It's amazing. That's amazing. I love that, to just escape from that phone swiping.
Yeah, and once again, you can catch Sam Allen's classes on his Zoom. Go to his Instashame. It's Instagram. It's not Instant Shame. I always call it Instant Shame. Instagram. Sam Allen Swag. What'd you say?
Sam Allen Swag with no H.
Swag. I said that. Yeah, that's something I would do. Just say it weird. Well, again, thank you so much for joining us, and everybody have a wonderful week.